There we go. And we're back. Oh, hello. How are we doing? My name is Fiona. I use she, her pronouns. I'm going to turn down the sound a little bit. Teeny tiny bit. Yes, my name is Fiona, she, her pronouns, and I run What Am I Rolling? A twice monthly RPG one-shot podcast. There you go, get the words right. And I also do these streams. Too long, didn't read tabletop RPGs. If you're wondering, what are you talking about? Haven't I not just seen you like 10 minutes ago? You're right, this is the first of a double bill, essentially. The reasoning behind this is that I realised in September, which is next month, which seems far away but actually is very close, I'm not going to be around for most of it. I'm going to be travelling. I'm going to be away from this setup. So I was like, oh no, I'm not going to be able to do lots of streams, lots of this, and I've actually been really enjoying it. That coupled with the fact that I have to look at certain RPGs for upcoming projects and stuff, I thought, well, why not try a double bill? So the last one we just did was Flabbergasted, which is a comedic role-playing game, which is super fabulous. We went through sort of the main game mechanics for that, how to create a character, had a quick look at that social club stuff, but most importantly looking at the setting of Peccadillo, which I absolutely highly rate, and I'd recommend checking out the Flabbergasted book by The Wanderer's Tome. However, that's not what we're here to talk about today, but I hope you're doing well otherwise. I appreciate if you've come to this thinking, what's she talking about? I've come to here to read about and listen to Brindlewood Bay. Well, there you go, not a problem. Yes, Brindlewood Bay by The Gauntlet. I'm going to put another... well, it's already in the chat, but yes, Brindlewood Bay. Possibly one of my favourite RPGs to sort of reread in general. Reread. I've only read it once. But I think it's an interesting one because it picks on certain tropes that I think are unique. I think it's definitely the game that sort of made The Gauntlet, and Jason Cordova, who we've had on Where a couple of times. We've had him for The Between. We've done an interview with him. Hopefully we'll get to do some more games with him in the future, but he's done, I said, The Between, which is like a Victorian horror monster RPG, which is really cool. He's also done Trophy, which is more of an adventurers dealing with monsters in a dark forest kind of thing, and he's got one called Public Access, which is all about like a VHS type horror and that sort of creepiness around it. It's very unique skill set, and it tells really interesting stories, which I love. But where would we be if we didn't start out by talking about is it actually, I should go to Game Scene, shouldn't I? That's what I should do. There we go. I've done it wrong again. That's the cover of Brindlewood Bay, which we'll talk about today, but I wanted to show you quickly the website for Brindlewood Bay. Now, what I will say is that there was a recent sort of Kickstarter to get the printed versions again, to get them all updated, and they look beautiful. That, if you've sort of seen the cover on the side, I'll just move it over slightly. The cover, which is absolutely gorgeous. I absolutely love it. With that sort of printed version as well, there's some cards, there's some special dice and stuff, so it's in the process of being printed and sent out now, but you can get the PDF mostly on Drive from RPG. I'm sure anywhere that sells PDFs you can check it out there. So what is, I hear you cry, what is Brindlewood Bay? Well, Brindlewood Bay is a game of cozy murder and darkness. It's a role-playing game about a group of elderly women, members of the local Murder Mavens mystery book club, who frequently find themselves investigating, and then in brackets also solving, real-life murder mysteries. They've become increasingly aware that there are supernatural forces that connect the cases they're working on, and in particular a cult dedicated to the dark, monstrous aspect of the goddess Persephone will come to vex them. This game is directly inspired by the TV show Murder, She Wrote, and also takes inspiration from the works of H.P. Lovecraft and cozy crime dramas and American TV shows of the 70s, 80s and 90s. So instantly, lots of interesting, unique selling points there, right? First of all, you're getting to play Jessica Fletcher. I think this is the thing. It's the first time I've come across a game that deliberately goes, you are in a like an archetype or a possibly a person or a personality that is very unlike your own. I think very few of us will know what it's like to be an elderly woman, or certainly, or have maybe, what's the way I'm trying to say this? We'll have maybe, if I said in an improv scene, okay, you're playing an older woman, people are going to bring out the Zimmer frames. People are going to be like, oh, I'm so frail. And that's not the case at all. This doesn't punch down on the archetype or the sort of appearance or what we associate when we talk about elderly women. It is about empowering that sort of that description and making them real and grounded and making them actually people that we're not taking the piss out of, which I think is so important because, my God, so many role-playing games, or so not even role-playing, but so many scenes I've been when we talk about older people, they go instantly, oh, they're frail, this, that, and the other, and you're like, God, they're only in their 60s. That's hang on, that's not. There's nothing wrong with getting older. So I think so first tick, really cool USP, that sort of idea of we're playing an older character and we're empowering that image of it. But also, Murder, She Wrote, that sort of era. There's also like Only Murders in the Building, that podcast one that's on Disney Plus, which again would recommend checking that out as well if you're interested in this sort of thing. Anything like that, the cozy dramas I'm thinking of, is it? I can't remember them all now, but like. There's the one with Dick Van Dyke and then his son Barry Van Dyke. I think is it Medical Hospital or General Hospital or something like that. Those sorts of murder mystery where it's a slightly older, unassuming characters solving the crime. Again, going back to say Agatha Christie, Miss Marple is an older character, an older sleuth that people dismiss and don't really care about, and then she solves it all. So. Tick, tick, tick. And then on top of that, we wouldn't be a Fiona game or a Fiona interest if it wasn't something about eldritch stuff in it. So yeah, this idea that there is an evil associated with this place of Brindlewood Bay, and that you eventually work out that it is this cult, the cult of this sort of midwives cult, I believe it's called. I can't the midwives of Persephone, I believe it's called. Which is really interesting. And one thing I will say, just right off the bat, is that it has like a traditional setting, but then it has versions, certainly in the core book, about hacking and changing that setting so it could be a bit more modern. So it might not be a cult in a traditional sense, it might be something that is about computer viruses, or it could be something that's a bit more modern or a bit more in the past. So I love that. There's ways to really customize this experience of what kind of stories you want to tell using these women, which I absolutely love. So, and what I'd say as well, it's powered by the Apocalypse system, one of the favourites we kind of use here on this channel, but there is a couple of other really interesting game mechanics in it as well, which are for the games person, the facilitator. I'm sure they have a special name for it in this game as well, but we will have to see. So, all that out of the way, I hope you're going to strap in. We're going to probably take about an hour and a half to 2 hours max, because I will say this book is incredibly well written. There's a lot of essays and guidance for the facilitator about how to use certain moves and what to do in certain situations, and I'm going to leave that for you folks to check out and find out, because there's something about it which I just absolutely really crave and really enjoy. And to be fair, I feel sort of honoured that we've had Jason on the channel to run games, and I recommend checking out all of his actual play stuff. And like, he's just finished up a Brindlewood Bay podcast series on his own YouTube channel, and does examples of the other ones as well, like the Between and Public Access are the ones I can think of just now, and they're really good. I use him as an inspiration for me trying to get better at GMing, because he's just so good at taking his time and really learning, and really like the patience and giving it things breathing space. Really interesting. So I highly recommend checking him out as a GM, but also his writing style as well, I think is absolutely brilliant and really, really accessible. Cool. Enough flabbergasting, enough sort of heaping on praise to someone who I really admire. Let's look at Brindlewood Bay. The other thing I'd say as well with Brindlewood Bay is that it has some really cracking, really straightforward handouts to give to people. So here's an example of the different moves that you can get as a reference. That's all on one page, which I absolutely love. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 moves, main moves that you take. And only, I think, these 3 moves will be the ones... Oh, sorry, these 4 moves are the most ones you'll use in this game. Maven moves, which we'll come to, but I quite like this as a way to customize your Murder Maven, your character. Alternate Maven moves, which are like... So basically, the first Maven moves are ones inspired by TV detectives, and they've got the name after names here, so like Frank Columbo there, we've got Fox Mulder, etc. So those specific abilities, they're named after TV detectives, and they give you something extra to your Murder Maven. But then there's also alternative Maven moves, which are sort of from books instead, which are like, oh look, there's Jane Marple's up there, fantastic. One thing I'd say straight off the top, I know we're about to go into it as well, you can't combine these 2 playsets. So each Murder Maven will have one of these moves to start with, but you can't be like, one of your characters, one of your players has one from one sheet and one of them has one from another sheet. They have to be either all the same, which is good. And there's a few other sort of stipulations about certain characters not having certain two Maven moves in the same game, because they'll probably break the game, which is quite interesting. And then here's the character sheet. Everyone gets the same character sheet, which is great. Very simple, straightforward in terms of picking styles and stuff. Some end of session questions, which is quite classic in Jason Cordova Gauntlet games. But I also think in Powered by the Apocalypse as well. Some really useful ones there. And then the crowns. I can't wait to talk about the crowns because they are so interesting. Really, really cool. Get them into because. And the Dark Conspiracy, this is what you as the GM will be tracking for that Dark Conspiracy. We talked about those midwives of Persephone cult. We might not cover it too much here, but it is an interesting thing. If you're going to run a longer term game of Brindlewood Bay, it's a beautiful way to bring things together. That this is why all these crimes, these murders are happening, which is great. And then you have each of the mysteries, which what I love about each of these mysteries is that they're a double-sided page. Everything's contained in 2 pages, so you could just pick one and just go, which I absolutely love. I think that's fantastic. You don't have to read lots and lots and lots. You could just take this and then go off there, go off on the scenario, which is fantastic. I do want to shout out the great Brindlewood Bake Off mystery because I ran that at UK Games Expo and they really enjoyed it. I think it was one of my favourite ones to run. I don't know if I'd start it with new players, but everyone got really involved with it and they thought it was like really cracking mystery, as we'll see. So there you go. So that's just a quick look at the handouts and stuff, and then might as well just dive right into Brindlewood Bay. So there you go. I must say this is such a nicer cover than the original. I know, again, the original was the original. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just like it's very evocative of what it is. I love this sort of style of sort of like pencil drawing with a bit of like watercolor wash on it, which is kind of the same as you go up to this sort of outside. It's really sort of clear. It really just, I don't know, I really vibe with it. What a terrible way to say it. I vibe with it. This book in total is about 168 pages. Again, like I said, we're not going to look through all of it, but just to keep in mind. There we go. Art by Cecil Ferry and written by Jason Cordova. Yeah, and there we go. It's so good. Oh, interesting. Some back and forth there because I believe maybe the Between came first. I can't quite remember. But yes, so the mechanics in general are based in part by the Powered by the Apocalypse, by Apocalypse World, by Vincent and Meg A. Baker. But also there's some of the Between in here as well. And actually the sort of framework going forward in most of the Gauntlet games is carved from Brindlewood. And you'll probably see quite a few of them around. If it's carved from Brindlewood, you'll get a sense that some of it is inspired partly by this framework in this book as well. So in total we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have 12 chapters. Again, we're not going to go through them all, don't panic. Like I said, I would highly recommend if you're interested in tabletop RPGs in general, if you're not, I would check out this book primarily for the Keeper, Basic and Advanced chapters because they are really interesting and really sort of I just think really well written and really good advice for running any Powered by the Apocalypse game and how to create custom moves and all that sort of thing. I was half right. The Midwives of the Fragrant Void. That's the cult. That's the sort of the overarching evil that you have to face, which is very interesting. And then we've got mysteries at the end and like what do you do, like the structure for session 1. So this is what I love about Brindlewood Bay is that it's very, very structured. If in doubt, go back to the structure and go, right, what's the next part? What's the next session? Which we'll probably look into. We'll definitely look into that section 1 just to go over it in general. So yeah, introduction, gameplay, basics. We'll have a little look at the Maven moves. Again, we won't look at them all in lots of detail. We'll have a quick check at the Dark Conspiracy and the Midwives and think, which will be interesting. And then the Children of Persephone, that's the sort of the thing they're trying to bring through. It's what the Midwives are trying to birth out into Brindlewood Bay, which is quite exciting. Yeah, so let's just dive on into it. And I appreciate it's small writing, and don't worry, enhance. So, Brindlewood Bay is a role-playing game about a group of elderly women, members of the local Mavens Mystery Book Club, who find themselves solving actual murder mysteries in their quaint New England town. They become aware of a dark occult conspiracy connecting the murders and will eventually have to defeat the dark conspiracy to save their community. As I said before, it's directly inspired by the TV show Murder, She Wrote, but also takes inspiration from the cosmic horror genre, cozy crime dramas, and American TV shows of the 70s, 80s, and 90s, which we'll see in the setting in a second. So, Brindlewood Bay itself is a small coastal community in Massachusetts. A whaling town in the 18th and 19th centuries, it is now largely a tourist spot. Many locals have turned their homes into bed and breakfasts, and the town has antique shops, comfy dining spots, and artists and artisans of all kinds. Guided fishing trips are also common. What I would say as well, because again, I appreciate it is a very American feel to this, because again, Murder, She Wrote is American. Only Murders in the Building is also American. I could easily imagine this setting being, say, the Lake Districts in the UK. Think Teens from the Flood. Actually, that's not an actual setting. Sorry, I don't know why I said that. But yeah, if you were looking for a similar sort of mystery type games, perhaps, but using people of different ages, so like Tales from the Loop, Tales from the Loop, Things from the Flood. There you go. Which involves sort of children and teenagers growing up in almost like a sci-fi, supernatural in quotation marks places that are quite isolated. So there's a different vibes, but using obviously different aged characters as well. Whereas this obviously focuses on an older generation, which is really, really cool. Sorry, I keep looking off to the side, and I appreciate it's because I'm trying to work out how hot my drink is. I've got some hot squash. I'm British and I didn't really want to have tea, which I know is like, what? Madness. But I've boiled the kettle and it's really hot, so I can't take a drink of it yet. And I'm really thirsty. So there you go. That's Fiona's chat. That's Fiona chat. Okay, Murder Mavens. Murder Mavens is a mystery book club that has been meeting on the top floor of the Candlelight Booksellers every Saturday evening for the last 10 years. It's always very established, this group already, which I absolutely love. The Murder Mavens are particularly fond of the Old Crown Mysteries series by Robin Masterson, featuring the globe-trotting super sleuth Amanda Delacourt. The Mavens themselves are all elderly women whose partners have passed away and whose children have long since flown the nest. Now they're enjoying their golden years in the picturesque town of Brindlewood Bay, keeping their homes the way they like, pursuing their hobbies, and finding comfort and companionship in each other. The Mavens are also amateur detectives, and by the time the game starts, they have helped the local police solve several high-profile crimes. Sometimes people just approach them to get their help on a case, but usually the Mavens just stumble on into it, much to the chagrin of the authorities, who almost always resent their meddling. What an introduction. What a great thing. And again, like I said, that idea is that, sure, these women, these characters had a past, they had partners or they had children, but they've gone now, so they're independent and they're finding themselves. They're not hidden away, they're not shunned by society, and that's great, actually. And I don't know, it just feels really positive and hopeful to paint someone in that light of someone saying, like, I've had a really rich and full life and I'm still going. I think cracking. The Midwives of the Fragrant Void. Brindlewood Bay is geographically and historically significant to a dark cult called the Midwives of the Fragrant Void. At the start of the game, the Mavens don't know anything about the Midwives, but as players, we know that they are a Hellenic death cult of men and women dedicated to bring forth the children, in quotation marks, of Persephone, a chthonic monstrosities that will usher in the end of all things. As the game progresses, the Mavens will become ever more aware of the supernatural connections between the murders they are investigating, and will eventually come to understand the role of the Midwives of the Fragrant Void. They may begin to dabble in the occult in order to combat the dark forces arrayed against them, come face to face with a child of Persephone, or even be tempted to join the Midwives themselves. Massive content warning. Again, early pages, but it's really important for games like this as well, which have slight horror elements on it, which could easily get dialed up, by the way, easily to like 12 or 11 or 12. Hey, hatchlings, how are you doing? Hatchlings on YouTube. Criticus is carved by Brindlewood Bay. After studying system, it's the only way to go. I agree. I was just singing its praises earlier, because it's one of the most interesting frameworks on it, and that's really cool about Cryptic Creeks, by the way. I did not know that. Don't worry, we'll check it out soon. But yeah, I love how narrative it is, and how very improv and how collaborative it is as well, because that's the key thing I think in all the games I like running. It's not just the DM sitting here going, this is this is that, and this is how you solve the mystery, this is how the puzzle works. It's getting the players to engage in it in no matter what way, whether it's powered by the apocalypse or it's carved by Brindlewood Bay. It's just, it's just a way to sort of have that collaboration and thinking outside the box. I just really love that about it. So on the surface, this game is about little old ladies solving murder mysteries, and it is definitely that. But it's also more than that. The game and this text becomes very dark as you progress through it. Cosmic horror, graphic violence, ritual sacrifice, that was ritual and sacrifice being put together as one, and other unsavoury things come up quite frequently. Additionally, this book also occasionally touches on sensitive subject matters such as sexism, sexual desire, the violence of American gun culture, consumer culture, and other topics. You may decide that this is not for you, and that's okay. There are other excellent mystery horror games out there for you to read, including Cthulhu Dark, Lovecrafty, yeah, that one, and A Society of Dreamers. I would agree. I actually think it's good to have those content things come up there. I would say that the Between really delves into it. It's a bit more graphic in terms of the subject matter it sort of covers and stuff like that. So if you love Penny Dreadfuls or anything like that, I'd recommend checking it out. But be prepared. I didn't know what to expect. I really liked it though. It was really good, and I really like this game as well. Oh, look at these images. I just think they're so cute. And again, I know I say this all the time. Oh, spooky. I'd love this as little postcards I can put out to players. But let's look at the gameplay mechanics straight into it. Let's just get it over with. So most of the gameplay in Brindlewood Bay is a conversation. One participant, it's the keeper. That's what you're called in this game. It's the keeper. Says how the world behaves. They frame the scenes and present challenges to the other participants. The players are responsible for how their murder maven reacts. This is all largely done via back and forth conversation between the keeper and the players. The narrative authority, who gets to say what, changes from time to time, but always remains within the confines of the conversation. The conversation ends when a player describes their maven doing something that triggers a move. So again, it's that powered by the apocalypse feel to it. At that point, you read the text of the triggered move, do what it says, usually by rolling dice and interpreting the results, and then narrate that part of the story as needed. Once the move is resolved, you can return to the conversation. It won't always be as clean as that when you sit down to play, and the keeper might prefer to shift the spotlight from one character to another whilst resolving a move. I know that's what Jason Cordova likes to do a lot, and leaves you on tenterhooks. You're like, oh no, what's going on? And also to do that, and then come back going, so yours was a mixed result, and then describe something to you. I'm like, how do you do that? How do you remember all those results in your head? Maybe he just writes it down, I don't know. So your abilities, your stats as a murder maven, these are it's powered by the apocalypse a solid bit. Each of these attributes have a modifier between -3 to +3. These are vitality, composure, reason, presence, and sensitivity. Vitality is anything to do with strength, dexterity, duration, athleticism, or raw physicality. So movement in some way, trying to get through stuff. Composure, that's like a steady hand, being calm, intense concentration, anything like that. So anything, it says here, to try and avoid a fear-based reaction. Reason, if you're studying books, researching a problem even, examining a crime scene, or otherwise engaging their mental faculty. Presence, if you're trying to charm someone, intimidate someone, or capture someone's imagination. I really love the wording of this. I think it's really, really cool. And then sensitivity. So if the maven's action involves occult or supernatural forces, the keeper may decide that an action is seemingly governed by a different ability is actually governed by sensitivity because of the supernatural, spiritual, or occult nature of what is being undertaken. Indeed. In most cases, when you roll dice, because the move instructs you to, you roll 2d6, sum them, and then add the modifiers from the relevant ability. You then check the result against the text of a move. If it refers to a hit, that means a 7 or plus. If it's a miss, or if it refers to a miss, it means a result of 6 and below. Moves frequently have success tiers, so usually a miss, so that's 6 and below, 7 to 9, which is a mixed success, a success is a 10 to 11, and then super success on a 12 plus. there's advantage and disadvantages. This is quite straightforward in this game. Advantage, you roll 3 dice, 3d6, keep the 2 highest. Excuse me, sorry. Most will have an advantage because of the following things. Either the move gives you an advantage, or maybe you have marked something, an item from your cozy little place for an action. So this is what I was saying before with Flabbergasted in the previous stream, is that having a memento is really lovely, but if it doesn't add anything to the game, I don't mind. Otherwise, you're just carrying around stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, I carry around stuff in real life, but I'd like to hope it gives me an edge on something. Like, I carry around my keys in order to get back into my house, you know? I don't know. I live my game as as an RPG, and I'm doing all right. I'm still loving it. Still trying to get the rules right. When you're at disadvantage, again, roll 3d dice and keep the 2 lowest. You'll often be at disadvantage because of the following things: as a condition negatively impacting a Maven's action. This is quite interesting. These conditions, because they are quite specific to the Maven. It's not like you are injured or you are limping or anything like that. You describe something that's attached to that Maven about them, which I really love. But there's a little bit of work on the keepers sort of thing to try and come up with something that suits the situation. And often, what it does say in this book, which I absolutely love, is like, if you can't think of something, ask the players what they think it should be. I'm a massive fan of games that give that permission to be like, just ask. You're doing enough work as it is. You're creating this world for them. You know, maybe they have a better idea of what you'd want to put in, and then the keeper believes it's appropriate under certain circumstances. And again, advantage, disadvantage. If you got both the same, they're just going to cancel each other out. There's such thing as stacking advantages and disadvantages, which totally makes sense. Crowns. So this is a really cool thing that I really love in Jason Cordova's games. There's crowns in this one. There is, I can't remember what it is in public access, but in the between it is masks, and in the between, depending on what scenario you're playing, you'll have different masks for different threats and all that sort of thing, so it's really interesting. But the crowns are very simple. I'll read it out because otherwise I'll just give the game away, won't I? The keeper will be very hard on the Mavens when describing adversity because the players have a powerful tool that allows them to resist, putting on a crown. After a die roll and an outcome has been narrated, the player can choose to put on a crown and increase their die result by 1 tier. So, for example, a 6 and below can come a 7 to 9, 7 to 9 can come a 10 to 11, etc, etc, etc. In that case, we narrate a different result to what was previously narrated, and that previous result does not occur. We could say it's some sort of different timeline. So we got the collective experience, but it actually doesn't happen. I quite like this little bit of a paragraph here. It says, why do you narrate the full result knowing that the player could disregard it by putting it on a crown? And the answer, simply, is because it's really fun. It allows us to glimpse into different timelines, playing them out, feeling them, experiencing the anguish and terror, and then doing something different. It's like I literally was about to say, it's like choosing your own adventure. It's like choosing one of your choose your own adventure books. Part of the fun is making the wrong choice so you can see that the disaster that befalls your character, and putting on the crown is like putting on your thumb on the page of those old books so you can go back and choose something different if you chose poorly. Agreed. I think everyone did that, right? Everyone had to do that. All right, straight onto it. We're only in double pages now, but it's time for the moves. So there's 3 different types, 3 different categories of moves in Brindlewood Bay. The basic moves, the Maven moves, and custom moves. There are 7 basic moves, which are described here. The day move, night move, meddling move, cozy move, golden crown mystery move, the occult move, and theorize. What I would say as well, we kind of covered it a little bit. The Maven moves is that sort of unique ability that you pick during character creation. And then custom moves are ones that you can make as the keeper with the players later on, which is really cool. But that's it. That's all you need. These 7 moves will cover everything you do in the game, which is like perfect. So let's go through them a little bit and see what we've got. So the day move. So when you want to do something risky or face something you fear, name what you're afraid of will happen if you fail or lose your nerve, and then roll the appropriate ability. This is obviously, as the title suggests, it's anything to do in the daytime. Or when they encounter something scary or unnerving in the daytime. Taking risky actions or encountering something scary or unnerving. The keeper has final say on which ability is used for the role. Fine. So yeah, you do, it could be like, oh, use composure. You're doing a day move, use composure, etc. And here are the sort of examples you can get. So a fail, obviously, just fails, right? On a 10 plus, so success, you do what's intended or you hold steady. Describe what it looks like. On a mixed success of a 7 to 9, the keeper will tell you how your actions would leave you vulnerable, and you can choose to back down or go through with it. If you go through with it, the keeper describes what it looks like. Simple enough. And on a super success, a 12 plus, you do what's intended or hold steady, and the keeper will tell you some extra benefit or advantage you receive. Describe what that looks like. And what I'd say as well is that as a keeper, if you're like, oh god, what extra thing we need? Again, this is sort of covered in that in the basic advanced chapters for the keeper, advice for the keeper later on. So that's all the moves you have to cover in the day. If it's something like, oh, I've got to climb this I've got to climb the stairs of a tower that's really crumbly, and I'm getting very weak and tired at the top because I don't know about you, going upstairs in a circular pattern is scary and also tiring. So that would be a vitality roll, day move vitality roll, I think. Meanwhile, a night move. When you do something risky or face something you fear, name what you're afraid will happen, or if you fail or lose your nerve. Here, the keeper will tell you how it is worse than you fear. You can choose to back down or go through with it. If you go through with it, roll with the appropriate ability. So I like that. Like the here, obviously, it's just like the day move. The keeper doesn't really say like, oh, what happens? Like, how is it worse? But in the night, because the night makes it scary. Yeah, you do add something to it. So on a 10 plus, you do as you intended or you hold steady. Describe what it looks like. Simple enough. On a mixed success of a 7 to 9, you do what's intended or you hold steady, but there is a complication or cost, and the keeper will describe what that looks like. On a 12 plus, super success, you do what's intended or you hold steady. The keeper will look to tell you some additional or extra benefit or advantage you receive. Describe what it looks like. So yes, it's all about night. Here it says, Brindlewood Bay, nighttime is more dangerous than daytime, so the night move is written to have more perilous outcomes for the Maven than the day move. The keeper has final say on which ability is used for the role. But again, very straightforward. One's limited to daytime, one's limited to nighttime, and the nighttime one is a little bit more dangerous, because it is, narratively so. Okay, the meddling move. This is probably the one you're going to use the most. When you search for a clue, conduct research, or otherwise gather information, describe how you're doing so, and then roll with the appropriate ability. So on a hit, so that's a 7 plus, you find the clue, and the keeper will tell you what it is, and that sort of comes with those handouts. Ooh, let me show you. So, there you go, some clues there on this one. That you could, so basically, if you roll 7 plus, you're like, okay, let's look at the clues, and then give you one of those clues. 7 to 9, there's a complication, either of the clue itself or a complication you encounter while searching. The keeper will tell you what the complication is. And on a 12 plus, you find a void clue. Or you learn something about the dark conspiracy in Brindlewood Bay, the keeper's choice. So yes, even, this is where she's going to try and find it. There you go, there's some void clues here. What I like about it is that it will always, so let me zoom in a little bit because it's teeny tiny writing as usual. The void clues can be connected to that scenario, so like anything so say going back to that Great Brindlewood Bake Off one, maybe it's like what was it? What is where I don't remember off the top of my head. Let's have an example. Let's go for okay, so let's say, let's move things across. Say a dangerously frayed electrical cord. Say that is going to be, you've rolled a 12 on that, so that's what the clue is, and then you're going to bring it back to that, the void, fragrant void sheet. So say it's the first clue. So it's always the first void clue is always it's always the midwife's first appearance in the story. It should be brief. I would combine the two. So it should be brief. Perhaps Maven's catching a glimpse of hooded, robed figures, and you should emphasize their masks with their smooth and white-like faces of marble statues in a Greek temple. And then you start to unlock things as well. So there's a little bit of admin for the keeper, but it's not too. I don't think it's too bad because I do think these play materials are really excellent. I know there are Google Sheets with these on, and it's a cracking one. I think they're called character keepers, right? No, play material keeper, like an organized keeper for these things, which is great. But would be nice to have form fillable PDFs. Just putting it out there, just because I know, like, I can use a Google Doc and a Google Sheet like that. But what if someone doesn't have access to Google Drive for whatever reason, or there's an issue logging in and stuff, but they do have access to a PDF reader? Ooh, can confirm it is now cool enough to drink my Vimto. That's lovely. Do sponsor me, Vimto. The meddling move is the main way a Mervyn turns up clues, and is the most frequently triggered move in the game. The meddling move is written to cover all types of information gathering actions, and the ability used for the role should match whatever the action is taken. For example, if a Maven is gathering information by sweet-talking a local law enforcement official, her player would roll with plus presence. That's the charisma type stat. If they're gathering information by silently listening to a conversation they aren't supposed to hear, then maybe they should roll with composure. If they're digging through books at the local library, they roll with reason, and so forth. The keeper has final say on which ability is used for the role. And we have the cozy move. I love the cozy little place. I think it's such a cute little thing. And it's, again, when you're developing your Mavens in the character creation, it's just it's such a little cute little thing, and it's I don't know. It's cute. I like it. The cozy move. When you have an intimate moment with another Maven whilst one of you is engaged in your cozy activity, you may each clear up an appropriate condition. If it's your cozy activity, you can also stumble on a clue to the relevant active mystery. Tell the keeper what it is. The clue cannot conclusively solve the mystery by itself. This move solves the practical purpose of clearing those conditions, but principally it's designed to show the close relationships between individual Murder Mavens and gives a glimpse into their lives in the community of Brindlewood Bay. It's also a risk-free way to find a clue. It's also just a nice way to do roleplay. I completely agree. The Golden Crown mystery moves. Once per mystery, whenever a Maven says, "This reminds me of something that happened to Amanda Delacourt," work with the other players to describe how something that is happening in the situation reminds the Mavens of an event of one of the Golden Crown mysteries. At minimum, you should provide the following information: the name of the Golden Crown mystery in questions. No repeats, please, so you can't just copy them over. I think I would definitely write them down, like a little note of, like, we covered these 5 Delacour books in the last five mysteries. The problem or situation that Amanda found herself in that is similar to what the Mavens are now experiencing, and how Amanda overcame the problem or resolved the situation. And then take a plus 12 to any relevant role or state of fact about the current situation that the keeper must incorporate. What a great little move. I love it. I think it's one of the best cute little moves. And it's got that improv stuff, it's got the collaboration stuff, but also equally is that I just want a plus 12 on something. Super success. Perfect. But it requires everyone's input in creating something. The Murder Mavens, share a love for Amanda Delacourt novels penned by the mysterious author Robin Matheson, and will frequently refer to Amanda's troubles when investigating mysteries of their own. This move is very powerful and, generally speaking, can only be used once total per mystery. Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of game-breaking in a way. Could you imagine, like, you just take a plus 12 on every single roll you do? The occult move. When you engage in an activity related to the supernatural or the occult for the first time, imagine what your action would look like as a move. Say what triggers the move and roll with sensitivity. On a hit, +7+, it works. Work with the keeper to write the move, and this is now a move that all Mavens can use for the rest of the game, and your roll stands. So that comes into the custom moves, which we'll look at in a second. On a 7 to 9, you must mark the crown. On a 7 to 9, so that's a mixed result, you must mark the crown of the void. So those crowns from before. On a miss, so a 6 and below, it's not something that the Mavens can ever do, and you it's not something the Mavens can ever do, and you also mark the crown of the void. Note: the keeper can require you to have a strong fictional justification for doing so before attempting to trigger this move. At the beginning of the game, the Murder Mavens have no familiarity with the occult, and they are entirely unaware of the dark conspiracy of the midwives of the Fragrant Void. As the game progresses, they will become more attuned to the deeper mysteries and may even begin to dabble in the occult themselves. This move helps uncover those situations and creates new moves based on what the Mavens undertake. But beware. This move is incredibly dangerous. Even a hit can push a Maven one step closer to retirement. Absolutely. Whoop. Absolutely. It's kitty cats. I was saying in the previous stream, the with the flabbergasted, there's lots of really cool, really great images of corgis and cats, and I'm just like, you know what, I'm here for this. But there's somebody's shadow on the back of a chair. Okay, meanwhile, theorize, this final sort of basic move. When the Mavens have an open, freewheeling discussion about the solution to a mystery they want, once they have gathered a number of clues equal to at least half the mystery's complexity, rounded up. I appreciate it, that sounds like a really difficult sentence. Each mystery will have a complexity. There'll be like a number, usually single digits, but maybe double. And you'll need to have spend enough time investigating stuff before you can start to theorize, essentially. And they reach consensus, roll plus the number of clues incorporated into the theory or otherwise explained away, minus the mystery's complexity. So, for example, if the mystery was, say 5, and you needed to have, and you collected 3 clues, then you could start theorizing. But then you'd be like, okay, so the roll is 2d6, plus 3, because that's the number of clues we say we included all our clues into the thing, but then minus the complexity, which is 5, we have minus 2 to the roll. So ideally you want to have equal to or more clues than the mystery, than the complexity of the mystery. So it encourages people to investigate more, to do that role play and look for clues and get engaged with the story in order to be able to theorize what's happening in it, which I quite like. On a 10+, it is the correct solution. If the keeper will present an opportunity to take down the culprit or otherwise save the day. On a mixed success of a 7 to 9, it is the correct solution to the solution itself. Present a complicated or dangerous opportunity to take down the culprit or save the day. On a 6, the solution is incorrect and the keeper reacts. Now, what I do like about this game is that when you react, it comes back to that sort of soft and hard moves before that Powder Bandit Apocalypse is kind of known for a little bit. It says, keeper says, when you react to something, if they fail, kill off an NPC. Which I love. I love that. I think just like go, it's wrong. That person's now dead, because that is such a typical murder mystery trope, right? You go, it must be this person, and then they reveal that they died, so it can't be that person. So very cool. And then on a super success, a 12+, a person involved in a dark conspiracy is also reveals themselves to the Maven. So that could be the person you've described as the murderer, but it also could be somebody that's like an NPC or one of the other characters that you've introduced during the scenario. All the good stuff. So. Note, it doesn't matter who rolls Theorize when the time comes. Additionally, Theorize cannot be taken with advantage or disadvantage, nor is it subjected to the effects of other moves. The success tier can be increased by putting on a crown, but only if every Maven does so, which is great. I love that. Here's the thing, right? As the facilitator, as the keeper, you don't actually prepare too much. You read the scenario and you read the mystery and stuff, but there's no canonical solutions to Brindlewood Bay mysteries. The solution is whatever the players come up with at the table, based on the clues at hand. So they could, like, it's because they'll be like, well, what does this clue mean? And be like, oh, that's a red herring, use something else. And then, no, I've got this clue that includes them all in, etc. It might take them a little while to get used to that, how to sort of theorize and include clues. But there's no problem if it takes that while. I think just be with them and support them as the keeper, because it's a little bit tricky, it's a little bit outside the box thinking, but I really love it. Theorize is meant to simulate those great scenes in mystery stories where the protagonists are puzzling out loud who might have done it. So those are the 7 basic moves we've got there. Now we've got the Maven moves and those custom moves. The proper way to think about the differences between basic moves, Maven moves, and custom moves is that each represents a different level of fictional specificity. Specificity? There you go. More simply put, the basic moves covers about 75% of all actions the Mavens might take in a story. The Maven moves are for more narrower circumstances involving talents that are unique to a particular Maven and account for 20% of their actions. And those custom moves are for niche cases, usually highlighting something specific to a mystery or a more dramatic one-time action, and account for less than 5% of the actions. Moves that are created from the occult move are also considered custom moves. That's what I wanted to say that. Cool. So there you go. So realistically, you don't need to worry. I wouldn't worry too much about the Maven moves, because what I usually say is like, oh, when someone goes, I want to use my Maven move, and I'll be like, cool, read it out loud for me. And when they do, I go, oh, that does work. I go, oh, that doesn't work, etc. So you don't need to know all the Maven moves and the alternate Maven moves off the top of your head, which is great. And yeah, that custom move stuff, like I said, there'll be guidelines later on about how to create your own custom moves. I'm not somebody who creates hacks of games myself or write stuff yet, obviously. It's very helpful guidance. I think it just breaks it down in a really, really nice way, and I definitely would feel more confident seeing that as well. Like if I had to make a move created from, say, the occult move, and give that to the players as one that they can always access. All of them can access. Excuse me. And then it talks about the character sheet, which we'll go through quickly. So a name. There's some examples of names with a surname. Your kind of style, it just how you look and appearance, it doesn't matter too much. The cozy activity represents their favourite hobby or pastime, apart from the murder mystery books. No mavens, excuse me, it's that Vimto, it's repeating on me. No two mavens have the same cozy activity. It just gives them a little bit of variety. The end of session, actually, why don't we go to, here we go, we can see them here. Let's have a look-see, shall we? So, pick a name or make up one of your own. Birdie, great name, I'd say. Pick a style. These are all very American styles, by the way. So I would very happily say to my players, make your own up on this one. Just all the cardigans, that's me for sure. The cozy activities, so pick one or make one up yourself. And here's an example of stuff. And again, it's just to give you a little bit of flavour, realistically. And here are the end of session questions. The first is always marked. At the beginning of the session, mark 2 more for a total 3 marked, which is good. For each marked question you answer yes to at the end of a session, you mark some XP, which you'd put here, for example. And then you could choose which questions. You could change the questions each session, which is good. The XP helps you. It's going to say here, mark an advancement to get stuff. So here we've got like an additional Maven move. Unmark all the items in your cozy place. That's quite useful if you use them all up. All good stuff. All right, Dan. We'll see you in about an hour and a half, probably. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. What else have I got? Advancements. We've talked about that a little bit. When all the advancements have been marked, your Maven can no longer collect XP or advance, but they are in play until they're forced to retire by the Crown of the Void, unless you decide to retire them. So you're putting on the crown below. So we've talked about the abilities. They're all sort of on here. Ooh. As a rule. At the beginning of the game, you add a +1 to a single ability. So that sensitivity one's already at a -1. So that's fine. But you can add them to any of them. If you want to add it to that, that's fine. But I would put it to either one of these first 4 for sure. The conditions, which is here at the bottom, are traits that cause you to make die rolls at a disadvantage. They would plausibly hinder your Maven during an action. You can have up to 3 conditions. If you ever take a 4th instead, mark one of your crowns. See putting on the crown below. The conditions are moved as a result of moves whilst the keeper, or when the creature instructs you to do so. So if you've moved to a different scene and it no longer applies, that's when you take it. And then Maven moves. That's where you put them on here. I think you can only have up to 3 Maven moves in total for sure. And then let's talk about putting on a crown. So we've got the Crown of the Queen and Crown of the Void. The next section of the character sheet is divided into 2 parts. You will occasionally put on a crown, in which case you would mark a box from one of these 2 sections. You must then do as the marked text instructs before the current session ends. The Crown of the Queen represents the idea of your Maven as a woman. The text involves flashbacks to her life as a partner, a mother, and a sister, and present-day scenes that show her being romantic or sexual, or having a complicated inner life. These entries can be marked in any order. The Crown of the Void represents the side of the effects of the dark conspiracy on your Maven. The text is always marked in order, and the last box heralds your Maven's retirement from the game. Let's have a quick... Why don't we have a look-see of what we've got here? So... excuse me. So we've got flashbacks of your fondest memory of your late partner. A flashback showing how you were an imperfect sister or daughter. A flashback about how you were an imperfect mother. A flashback of your fondest memory with one of your children. A scene in the present day showing a private side few, very few of you get to see. A scene in the present day showing a burgeoning romance. And a scene in the present day showing how you satisfy your physical desires. And then when you put on this crown of the void, a shadow in the garden. Hereafter, during cozy vignettes, focus on you or cozy move scenes involving you. You must also narrate how dark entities subtly reveal themselves to you in a scene. The chariot, your reason modifier is reduced by 1 and your sensitivity modifier is increased by 1. The pallid mask. Hereafter, during any intimate conversations with another character, you must make casual references to death, dying, the afterlife, or the end of all things, no matter the subject at hand. It's quite a nice little roleplay one, that one. The pomegranate kernel. Yes. You take the condition, obsessed with the void, it can never be cleared. And the void. Retire a character in a way that shows that they are lost to the void. Quite flavoursome prompts, I think. It encourages, enough to go on a scene, but maybe not too long. I really love the Crown of the Queen ones. I love a good flashback. Getting a chance to monologue in a game, I love as a well, obviously I run lots of games, so obviously I do love that. But also I love monologuing as characters and stuff, and just, I don't know, gives a little... Oh, monologuing as players, sorry. I just gives that little insight, to someone's thoughts, so there you go. A cozy little place. This section of the character sheet is where you note interesting and distinctive items that can be found in your Maven home in Brindlewood Bay. It also functions as an equipment list, since anything from the cozy little place might be reasonably on a Maven's person in a scene. Items from your cozy place may be marked to get an advantage on a die roll associated with their use. Generally speaking, let me zoom in a little bit. Generally speaking, they cannot be unmarked, but marked items remain in your cozy place for use in future scenes, in which case they can add fictional positioning of your Maven's actions, but do not convey a bonus to the die roll. At the beginning of session 1, you and your other players will have the opportunity to add items to your cozy place. After that, the items can be added as a result of moves or when the keeper instructs you to do so. So yeah, that's the really cool little bit. I'm going to skip the scripture of play for session 2. I'm going to look at session 1, which is quite far back, so give me a second. Whoa! Oh, spoilers! Don't look! Oh, there's a dog. Spoilers. Secrets. Ah, I just saw it. Here you go. Oh. So here, this is what I absolutely love about this game, is that it gives you, it's a bit like Die, it gives you a structure for how to play this game if you're the first time, step-by-step guide if you're running your first game, your first RPG game or first session of Brindlewood Bay, which is great. It also, interestingly, gives you time estimates about how long to take each step. Doesn't always happen. I know it doesn't always happen, but it's quite nice to be like, okay, roughly 90 minutes for them to get used to the game and stuff before taking a break, etc. So step 1, read the rulebook. Absolutely, that's what we've been sort of doing. They recommend starting with the scenario Dad Overboard. There's an actual play of it on Jason Cordova's YouTube channel. Gather the play materials, either have them printed out, put them online, etc. Gather participants. Works best with 1 keeper and 3 players. So, yes. Oh, I didn't realise that. Whoops. Keeper introduction. So, introduce yourselves going around. Read out this incredible thing called CAT. So, it's an acronym standing for Concept, Aim, Tone, and Subject Matter. It helps establish some of those expectations and stuff. So, they give you a whole script about how to do CATs, which I think is great. takes off that pressure. You just read it out aloud, and maybe I'd practice maybe once or twice just going for it in case you all like me and just words just sometimes. So so concept of Brindlewood Bay, the aim of it, what we're going to do today, the tone of what we're looking for between cozy and creepy, subject matter, some examples of what could come up, and talk about safety tools in a moment, etc. Which goes on to the safety tools. So here it talks about the open door policy, which is something I hadn't come across, but it's something I do include in all my games, that if you have to leave, that's fine. Just say you're leaving. That's what I prefer. You can leave at any time, it's no problem. The X card and Lives of Veils, we've done all these things as well. Then character creation, it says 15 minutes. It should be straightforward because you've got a 6-step process. We've kind of just been through this before. Come up with a name, come up with a style, choose a cozy activity. Just remember that no two Mavens can have the same cozy activity. Assign 1 point to the abilities and then note the final modifiers. Choose a Maven move from one of the Maven sheets, either the main one or the alternate one, but make sure all of you are going from the same sheet. And then wait for everyone else to finish. Then you introduce your character, which is great. And then we're now going to go again and have each player describe the key aspects of the Maven backstory. Their deceased partners, their children, if they have any, and pets are okay as well, and their career before they retire to Brindlewood Bay. After you've given that information, the rest of the players are going to name one object found in the Maven's home in Brindlewood Bay, and you note those down in the character sheet as in the closest to a place. Revisit him as you wish. That includes the keeper, by the way. The keeper can also add something as well, which is cute. And it's supposed to it's an object that is significant and sort of reflects the character that's been brought to the game, which I think is really, really cool. Step 9. Have a break. Always good. We're like, right, we're going to take a 10-minute break. It also gives people, if people need to tell you some extra lines and veils if they've remembered something, or accommodations as well. So, for example, if you're playing online, they might be like, oh, could you turn on the subtitles? Oh, I have a hard stop at 9:30, etc., etc. Communicate any new lines of veils. Here is one of the most important things. I'm just going to enhance a little bit. So, enhance. I also want to tell you that even though this game is set in a particular region of the United States, we aren't going to dwell on the historical or cultural accuracy. We're going to do our best to represent the culture of the region. We're also going to get some things wrong every now and then, and that's okay. I'd also like to point out that in the world of Brindlewood Bay, things like race, nationality, gender, ethnicity, sexuality, disability, and neurodivergence are not a social barrier. What a nice way to summarize it. I think that's great. I would put that in most games if I could, to be honest with you. I think I should. I don't know why I said I couldn't. I could. And then begin the session. So each session, beginning of the session, so they should mark 2 of those ends of session questions just now. If you have any maiden moves that fire off at the beginning of the session, resolve those now. And then you start the game by doing these cozy vignettes that show everyone goes around and does a little quick monologue about what the Maven's doing at Brindlewood Bay. They should be like light and breezy scenes, enjoying their hobbies, helping with a community project, or working around home. Imagine that bit at the beginning of Murder She Wrote, which is on her typewriter and she's cycling, she's painting, she's all that sort of thing. It's like the opening credits, which I absolutely love. Then I should tell the players the name of the mystery, sort of the title card that comes up, what the complexity is, and then guide them through the presentation of the mystery. And then the actual investigation itself, for the first session at least, should take about 90 minutes or so. And that's where it comes into moving from those scenes, using that conversation to move the story along a little bit, using those different moves as well. You're going to, and it says, I quite like this, it says you're probably going to forget things like conditions, custom commercial, which we'll come on to in a second, and a cozy place first time you play. It'll take a player's session or 2 to get master the crowns as well. It's all fine, just take your time, essentially. Focus on teaching the gameplay mechanics when to use each move and how the dice work, and what the ability scores mean, and etc, etc. Try and finish the mystery if you can, but if not, if you had to end in the middle, try and end it on a cliffhanger and take a 5-minute break at some point. I do think 90 minutes is very generous. I think I can imagine it being 3 hours and having a break at 90 minutes. Crown scenes. So there are 2 special sections of the character sheet. We talked about it: the Crown of the Queen and the Crown of the Void. It talks about when you put on a crown, you will have to sort of narrate certain scenes to sort of comply with it. They can narrate it whenever they wish, but they've got to do so before they end the session. So if there's 15 minutes remaining, you should sort of try and do it then, essentially. That's what it's sort of asking. The keeper should wrap up whatever scene's taking place and then call for any crown scene. So you might have to ask it. Oh, has anyone not done a crown scene yet? Because sometimes you're like, oh, I've been put on the spot, but I need time to think. That's always good. Then you have end of session questions. So you read those questions that you marked off at the beginning of the session, and you mark 1 XP for every question you say yes to. Then there's a little bit of debrief. Stars and wishes is the sort of go-to thing for this, where you go around each of you and you say sort of like a star is something that you really enjoyed about the session. It could be something that your character's done. It could be something that happened in the game, the story, or something else another Maven has done. And a wish is something that you wish to see next time. Explore a bit of the game that we didn't get to see. Following up with a character about something, or just having anything like that. So something that you really enjoyed about the session and something that you hope for next time, which is great. It then says, step 18, midwife scene. This will come in. This is when you will narrate a stinger scene if you've unlocked the first layer 1 of the Dark Conspiracy. And then homework. Encourage the players to review their character sheets before the next session. In particular, they should read through the section called The Crown of the Queen and think about what it means for their Maven, which is cool. And then you just follow the session 2 section onwards, which we can now rush back to and see if anything comes of it. Sorry. So there you go. So then, this is like basically then it's every single. So there's, sorry, words, not my strong point, but yeah, basically every session now is like follows this structure instead, and basically it's just like a recap. It basically is a way you don't have to go through the cats. Introduction again, because people should be on the level. You might want to just go over lines and veils again, just as a reminder if it's been a little while. But yeah, basically, first of all, you start off with a recap of the previous mystery, any void clues that have been encountered as well, any conditions that their Maven has. If there's not an active mystery, focus on the recap and the void clues and conditions. Fine. Resolve any cliffhangers. All good. You might want to do a short housekeeping phase in which you mark new session questions if you want, and resolve moves that take place at the beginning of the sessions. Then it goes back to cozy vignettes. Presents a new mystery if applicable. So if the mystery was solved last session, you might want to present a new mystery. It's interesting. So like in the between, you can have up to 3 threats or 3 mysteries happening at the same time. Because you're constantly in work, you're constantly getting on with stuff, etc. Whereas this is one mystery that you're focusing on. You're not going to be worried about 2 mysteries because you don't want to. It's a bit more involved, right? You don't want to keep losing track of things. But I quite like how the between you can move to different sort of monstrous mysteries and just be like, I don't know, threats. They're called threats. Sorry, not mysteries. And obviously, if one gets too big, it's going to take over the rest of the storyline. So it's constantly like spinning plates. There you go. And then that's kind of it. That again, same sort of session. It's very, very straightforward. Maven moves. So that's what I was saying before. These classic Maven moves are inspired largely by male detective characters in American TV shows from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I would hope that we'd have some more female ones. But I know these come a little bit in the alternate ones, so I might do when I'm running this again. I might use the alternate ones, the ones from books and stuff, because it feels like if you've got maybe there isn't that many female detectives shows. Obviously, I don't know. I just feel like it's a shame, really. But here's the main thing to note is that no 2 Mavens can have the same Maven move at the start, so that's fine. Additionally, no 2 Maven moves can have Dale Cooper and Fox Mulder at the same time, though a single Maven can require both during the course of the game. So let's look at those 2 moves, shall we? So let's go to Dale Cooper. So Dale Cooper is add 1 sensitivity to a max of 3. At the beginning of each session, the keeper will give you a void clue in some strange, unsettling dream you experience. Oh, so very much the Twin Peaks feel. No 2 Mavens can have this move at the same time. And then I like this. It gives you a little suggestion of why you want to maybe want to pick this move. So pick this move if you want to explore supernatural weirdness. Very cool. Let's look for Fox Mulder. Someone's connected to the Dark Conspiracy is helping you behind the scenes. Tell the keeper that the thresholds for each layer of the Dark Conspiracy are reduced by 1. Once per mystery, after at least 1 void clue has been encountered, you have a secret meeting with this informant, who is always shrouded in darkness or otherwise disguised. You need only to describe what the scene looks like, the location, the physical environment, and how the mysterious person arrives on the scene, etc. The actual conversation happens off-screen. You then declare that a void clue encountered during the mystery is now a regular clue. The informant will only reveal themselves during the void mystery, at which point you'll have normal scenes with them. Again, no two Mavens can have this move at the same time. Pick this move if you want to make the occult conspiracy a more central part of the story. Could be interesting. Could be interesting. Let's have a look at some of the. What a great image! I love that. Let's look at some of the alternate ones. So these are largely inspired by characters from murder mystery books, sorry. And the same sort of thing. Let's look for. That's a cool parallel there. Let's look at Nancy Drew. You know that Robin Matheson hasn't written an Amanda Delacourt book in years, and that her name is used as a pseudonym by dozens of secret ghostwriters because you are one of those secret ghostwriters. So long as you keep the secret, the Mavens always get both benefits of the Gold Crown mystery moves instead of having to choose. Wait, what's it? Oh, do they get, hang on. What's the Gold Crown? It does say, right? Sorry. What does it say about the Gold Crown mystery moves? Here we go. So take a +12 or state a fact. Oh, you could do both. Oh, that's very cool. I love that. Oh, that's really good. If you ever reveal the secret to anyone, you get a second use of the Gold Crown mystery move during the mystery in which you reveal it, but take the condition marked by the Robin Matheson network, and you now have longer access to this move. No two Mavens can have this move at the same time. Pick this move if you want to make the Golden Crown mysteries a central part of the story. Hell yes. What a cool move. I'm just trying to see what it says. No two Mavens can have the same move at the same time. Additionally, a number of moves can only be taken by one Maven. Additionally, finally, Robert Langdon and Clarice Starling cannot be in the same game. Let's see what not Father Langan, Robert Langdon. So that's the guy from Da Vinci Code, right? Once per mystery, you can change a physical object that is a clue into a void clue by describing secret markings, unusual patterns, or otherwise strange occult details that are on it. If you have unlocked layer 3 of the Dark Conspiracy, tell the Keeper that the thresholds for each remaining layer are reduced by one void clue. No two Mavens can have this move at the same time. This move and the Clarice Starling move cannot be used in the same main. Pick this move if you want to make the occult conspiracy a more central part of the story. But then what is... Oh, that's number 1 Lady Detectives Agency. Sorry. Ooh, hello. It's a nice long one there. Clarice Starling, sorry. This move has no function until you solve a mystery and put a suspect behind bars as a result. Oh, here we go. Thereafter, you can name an imprisoned suspect your consultant. Once per mystery, you can go to the prison the consultant is being held in and ask them about the mystery. This triggers the meddlesome move as it would when questioning any other character, but the consultant's answers and behaviours are affected by your most recent mark on the Crown of the Void. No marks. Excuse me. The consultant is mocking or insulting. A shadow in the garden. The consultant claims to see... malevolent... Excuse me, spirits all around you. Ooh. The Chariot. The consultant reveals a void clue even on a miss, but no extra effect on a 12+. The Pallid Mask. The consultant also reveals the name of a character who will be killed if you do not do something to help them. And the Pomegranate Kernel. Sorry. The consultant will also profess their love for you. If you reciprocate their love, clear the obsession with the void and lose access to this move. If you reject their love, take the condition marked by the consultant and lose the access to this move. The consultant will eventually escape and come after you. Pick this move if you want to have an intense, ongoing side story with a evil character. How cool! Oh, I want that too. How cool are these maiden moves? They're just so... It's so evocative and so interesting. Very cool. Ugh. How are we doing on time? Okay, we're doing okay. Gonna move. Oh, there's Tintin. That's quite cool. Oh, I want to see Tintin. Oh, I can see it already. You have a canine companion whom you share a strong bond. This is a pup. I can understand what you say in near perfect comprehension. Name them and add them to your cozy place. They gain the power of speech once layer 5 of the Dark Conspiracy is unlocked, but only you can understand them. No two Maven moves can have this at the same time. Pick this move because Talking Dog, absolutely. Oh, cracking. Absolutely cracking. Oh, Phoenix Wright there as well. Fantastic. Very cool. Okay, so this is when it goes into the keeper basics and the advanced stuff as well. It's really, really useful. I love this. The remainder of this book, let me move in a little bit. It's presented as if the game designer is speaking to the keeper, and therefore the turn presentation is a little less formal than in previous chapters. Again, I'm going to leave this for now because it is... I've read it before. I've really enjoyed it, and I think actually they're really good advice for anyone that is running any Powered by the Apocalypse game, or even a Carved from Brindlewood game. So do take them out. I'm going to move forward a little bit. Oh, it's terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. So here's some... That's what I was talking about, those reactions I was talking about. So if you fail, separate the Mavens, kill a suspect, inflict a condition, put them in danger, show a Maven being killed, remove an item from their cozy place, have an official show up. Nobody likes that. No one likes the official showing up. Revealed a void clue and cut to commercial. I think I should talk about the cut to commercial one because that's one I always forget. We don't separate the Maven, kill a suspect. That should be straightforward enough. Inflict a condition. This is a kind of important one. So this is a trusty go-to keeper reaction for nearly all situations. A condition is a one-word adjective or short phrase, and it should directly follow what has just happened in the story. For example, if a Maven got sideswiped by a car peeling away from a crime scene, you might give them the condition of banged up. If they just had a very frustrating, condescending conversation with Sheriff Dalrymple, you might give them the condition irritated, etc., etc. A condition may be cleared by using the cozy room, or because you think it's appropriate given the circumstances. They're discussed in more detail in the next chapter. Let's have cut to commercial. Look at this. This is a very special keeper reaction. One that pays homage to the TV shows that inspired the game and suggests that Brindlewood Bay itself is a TV show. Here's how it works. If a Maven undertakes a perilous action that provokes a die roll, and that die roll misses, you can say, "Let's cut to commercial," before the outcome is narrated. Then give the player of the Maven a short prompt. The player may then narrate a commercial inspired by the prompt. If they do, return to the regular scene and allow play to continue as if they'd rolled a 10 to 11, so success essentially. This keeper reaction is actually a very powerful benefit to the players. It's very supportive of them. So be judicious at how often you use it. Once per mystery is plenty. Here's some examples of what the prompts could be. So Mike the Gorilla Murphy, attorney at law. Situation comedy, that's my mama. And the Holy Spirit, an alcoholic beverage for Christians. Incredible. So I love that. Like, again, you could have a proper brainstorm with some of the players beforehand, like, all right, what kind of commercials would you like to see come up? And then you'd roll on the table perhaps or something. That'd be very cool. Oh, some more great artwork. Oh, some advanced ones, like some examples of what the difference is between the day and night moves. Very good. Meddling moves and revealing a clue. Because I will say these are quite interesting. So if you say, I need to give this clue, but it doesn't really make sense. There's different ways of looking at it. Is it like a will that you managed to find, like a will somewhere, or have you overheard someone talking being cut out of a will, that sort of thing. So there's always a way to give a clue, even if you're not sure. It doesn't have to be a physical object. It could be a bit more abstract. Gives you advice on how to do examining a corpse. The Murder Mavens examine corpses a lot. Stuff about the occult move, the theorizing move. Some advice for the Murder Maven moves as well, which is great. What to do with cozy location. Here's some conditions. I highly recommend checking these out. Look, some conditions divided by type. Again, I think I would probably highlight this page or bookmark it in some way, because these are very useful to have to hand. So if you're like me, when I'm improvising or coming up with complications, I really struggle. So I think these are quite useful. Severe vertigo, great one. If a Maven has a condition that is permanent, such as severed hand, this is a somewhat extreme example, but bear with me. Clearing the condition doesn't mean the hand is magically reattached. Rather, this means the Maven has learnt to live with it long enough so it doesn't impose a disadvantage on die rolls. So there you go. And these conditions need to complicate the lives of Mavens. It's disadvantaging their roll, right? Cool. Keeper reactions. Making time for the cozy move. Yep. Running Brindlewood Bay as a one-shot. So it's meant to be played over several sessions, right? But sometimes you only have one session. Jason's advice, play as you meant to play with some aspects of the game, like the dark conspiracy or the cozy mood won't have much salience in a one-shot, but that's okay, because to some degree you're just showing off the system. I agree. that's actually good advice. And so like maybe don't mention them too much in this, but it's good. It's good to know. This is a really cool essay, by the way. I would like highly recommend reading it about how do you showcase and communicate danger and challenge. Like what ways could you do it? That's not just like, oh, you get hurt, oh, you get hurt, oh, you get hurt. So again, it can be quite difficult to come up with different things every time. So it talks about, you know, look at the environment, look at like ways people would sabotage and retaliate things, anything obscure, like in terms of aggressors, perhaps. So you never see the actual person, perhaps like something's shot at you, like a drive-by shooting or something. Social repercussions of reputation, that's equally quite bad in a small community, right? Jessica Fletcher gets shunned quite a bit, I seem to remember. Alright, dark conspiracy. And this is quite cool as well, because like because they are part of the overall stories and stuff, but you're like, God, how do I fit in this overarching thing? Because a lot of the game is improvised and it's collaborative. Like, how do you put them in? There's like 3 different ways to approach it. It's a mixed approach, which like Jason said, it's most keepers will settle into, perhaps. But there's also the emergent approach that you don't plan anything ahead; it just happens organically. Or the guided approach is that it's a idea. There are some ideas in this book that you can incorporate into your own game, and like this stuff is always going to happen no matter what the Mavens do, which I think is great, and it's great. It's great thinking about for when you're planning other games with similar themes, I guess. Goes into what the Dark Conspiracy sheet is. We can have a quick look at it here as well in the handouts. Where are you? There you go. The Dark Conspiracy. So there's I think there's five levels, which is very good. That's quite cool. You keep track of the mysteries and any characters who reveal themselves connected. Yeah. So there's, again, it's nice that it's on 2 pages. I really like that. I just wish there was a form build-up version. But what do I know? Writing the Void Mystery. You're going to write the Void Mystery. That's really cool. So you don't have to work. So I mean, again, that kind of, it does say it might seem intimidating. I do find that quite intimidating, actually. I don't know how I would do that. But again, by the time you get to that point when the Void Mystery comes out, it probably is straightforward what it's going to be, because they've collected all the clues. They've made themselves a target, right? And you've gone through it in such detail as well. So again, some really good advice here. Again, don't want to go into it too much. And there's some information about the midwives of the Fragrant Void. So your version of the midwives will have its own specific ambitions, its own particular membership, its own resources and abilities, but there are a few things that are almost always true. They are a Hellenic death cult, meaning they are a death cult with traditions, aesthetics related to ancient Greek history or mythology. They're trying to summon a chthonic monstrosity called the Child of Persephone from the depths of the ocean. They are connected in some way to the history of the town of Brindlewood Bay and believe Brindlewood Bay to be geographically and historically significant to their ultimate aim. They have hidden members and conspirators in and around Brindlewood Bay. They're able to perform powerful ritual magics to attack their enemies and summon lower-level monstrosities to do their bidding. So the specifics are for you to determine beforehand, either before or as you play, in between sessions of reacting to moves. And then there's 6 possible origins for the midwives. Each comes with a unique history, which you can reveal once layer 2 is unlocked. So that's pretty cool. Note some of these mysteries come from the companion book Nephews in Peril. So that's the additional expanded book, which I would recommend checking out. There's some really cool mysteries in there. So for example, you'll get like so one of these examples, the founders of Brindlewood Bay, and here's like the big bad, an NPC that you'll come up again, which I love. Like just that little description of Eudora here: brightly coloured turtleneck, tasteful jewellery. Suggested mysteries. Oh, that's quite cool as well. Though for each one of these midwives' histories, you can let's go through these. So you don't have to plan too much. You'll be like, okay, we'll play these mysteries in this order, which is quite cool. Dark Academia, words. Vengeful Royalists is a group of English aristocrats angry about the demise of the British Empire. Fantastic. Love that. A faction at war. Just one of many Hellenic cults, many of which are at war with each other. These are loyal to the Queen Persephone and are particular enemies of the court of the occulted king, or colluded king, the Hades cult from the mysterious exit stage death. Very cool. Oh, it's just so well written. I loved that one. Proserpina Core, the editor of the Pomegranate satirical news website. Great. New Age spiritualists. And then the insane technologists. I love this one. We worship a god AI called Persephone. Very cool. I think that's really interesting. And some other additional members you could bring in. Some great ones for NPCs you could talk about as well. Lots of info here. Those talks about those monstrous things they can send, sendings, services. These for when layer 4 is unlocked as well. So some examples and guidelines for inspirations for both of these. Again, I'm just gonna shoot through. Oh, it's terrifying. Like already seeing tables is also terrifying. Moving through these a little bit. So this there's the original cover. That's the original cover of what it used to be, which is. It's okay. I don't mind it too much, but I prefer the current cover. I think it's better. And then some information about what the child of Persephone, or children of Persephone's are. Kind of 6 such monstrosities. Pick one and use it as written, or let it inspire your own creation. When starting the Void Mystery, think about how long you want to be summoning the child of Persephone to be, etc. So let's have a quick look. See. The Eye of Charon, a titanic red eye surrounded by a mass of oily black tentacles. No, thank you. That sounds terrible. The Million-Hander, an enormous mass of thousands upon thousands of arms born of a writhy stalk made of hundreds of legs, crowned with a ring of 10,000 heads. Nope. The wings of Nemesis are a pair of enormous wings bound to a shard of hateful white light. Whoa. The gate and the box are is an entity in 2 parts. The first is a pair of large bronze doors, the size of a skyscraper, engraved with little faces in profile looking away from each other. The second, beyond the bronze doors, is a titanic black cube vibrating with energy. Oh, that's very cool. It's so wild. Zagrus is a masticated flesh and bony remains of devoured gods made animated. No, thank you. And Crawling Chaos. Crawling Chaos manifests as a massive black insect-tail creature with a googolplex of walking appendages that are used to drag each bus-sized segment of its multi-segmented body out of the waves onto the beach. No, thank you. Some terrible ones, some terrifying ones there. And it goes on to the mysteries, again, which I'm not going to go into too much detail because they are really good and I don't want to spoil it for people as well. But I'll show you the first one at least, where I'll go through the actual scene of it. So here's the example. That's the name of the mystery at the top, so that's Dad Overboard. Got the complexity of it, presenting the mystery, like giving it an example of like painting a scene. Painting a scene is a very classic thing to do in any Gauntlet games, by the way, which is fantastic. An establishing question, getting one of the other mavens or one of the other players to be like, oh, you're most connected to this, answer this question for you, to give that little connection in, so to speak. Once you've got that, you've got some moments that will appear, that will come up maybe during that opening prologue, sorry. Some suspects as well, so some people to mention that are part of the mystery or connected to the mystery. And then locations, places where they can go explore, which is usually really good. Clues, examples of clues, and some void clues. That's what I meant, is that there's clues, and then there's void clues that can come up depending on the mystery as well, so that's really interesting. And then you got that is it. I'm just going to have a quick look to see if there's anything else. I think that's it though, because those are all those mysteries. And it said before there is the, sorry, I'm having a quick look. Oh, well, of course, media recommendations. Murder, She Wrote, Midsummer Murders. Oh, I would highly recommend Midsummer Murders. I never get the murder. Great British Baking Show. Oh, very sweet. Knives Out. Yes, absolutely. Actually, I should zoom in a little bit. Clue, course. Murder on the Orient Express, depending on which ones. Oh, Schitt's Creek, of course. What a delight. What a delight. That's really good for characters in that one, I think. Books, The King in Yellow. Ooh, terrifying. So yeah, there's a lot mixture of obviously horror and cozy murder dramas, which is always really lovely. Some podcasts as well. Oh, Gods of the Old Gods of the Appalachia. They've just had their own RPG come out just now. Welcome to Night Vale, of course. Cyrun, I've not heard of that RPG as well. It gives you some examples of which Murders She Wrote episodes to watch. Oh, fantastic. How good is that? And some design notes as well, which we won't go into, but there you go. A whistle-stop tour in Brindlewood Bay. I love it. I think it's one of the most interesting games, and I've run it once. I enjoyed it. I forgot about the cut to commercial move, I'll admit. But I think it's one of the most friendly RPGs that not only looks at playing characters that are not necessarily characters close to yourself. It could be characters very different to you. Playing them sensitively and sort of embracing age as a character, which is not something that lots of people like to do. I'm playing it sensitive in a way and actually giving them a sense of purpose and putting, like, just making them real. Actually real people, and not treating them as like an old doddery stereotype. On top of that, I love the collaboration aspect of it. I feels very improv-y. I can see improvisers really taking to this game quite easily, along with the Eldritch stuff in it. Like, maybe you don't want to put the Eldritch horror stuff in it at all. Maybe change that big bad to something else as an ongoing thing. But equally, I think it's great. I mean, that's what drew me to the game in the first place. Come for the Eldritch horror. Stay for the Murder Mavens. That's my go-to. But thank you so much for joining me for this Too Long Did Not Read tabletop RPG. Please check out Brindlewood Bay. You can buy it on the Gauntlet website at Drive-Thru RPG. They are doing, like I said, they're doing a print run just now of this book with some extra little bits and pieces, which hopefully will be out in the next couple of months. They've also got Nephews in Peril, which is the expansion. It gives a whole range of other murder mysteries for you to solve with your Murder Mavens, which is great. Check out the actual plays as well that they've done. If you're not sure how it runs and if you're not so sure about the structure, Jason does a really good, straightforward how to do it, and also I would highly recommend watching any of his actual plays, just for how to run a game. To be honest with you, he also did a cracking actual play of The Between for a few months ago, which you can find on this YouTube channel as well. If you enjoyed this, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Check out my podcast. I run What Am I Rolling, which is a twice monthly RPG one-shot podcast where we look at different RPGs such as this one, run a game of it, and sometimes we do interviews with the authors and the game designers, obviously. We've got Jason Cordova on there. We've got a few other people that we've interviewed on there. I've got a few other games coming out as well. I also run a few games on a place called Girls Run This World. I'm currently running the Alien Destroyer of Worlds cinematic scenario happening on Thursday nights there now, so that's really good. Final thing, I'll be back tomorrow with another tabletop RPG stream. It should be a little bit lighter than all of these things, which is, it's all good. But if you're like, oh, Fiona, you're funny, you're witty, I enjoy your commentary about things. But thank you. Well, come join our Discord, the Ware and DMBC Discord. I run another podcast with my friend Hamilton about D&D lore. So we've got things for everyone. We love RPGs so much that we just want more people to play with them and get excited about them, because I think they're better than board games. I think they're better than immersive theatre. I think there's something that's so wonderful about spending a night with your friends, playing other people and creating beautiful stories together. And if that stories are D&D related, or if they're playing elderly women solving murder mysteries, so be it. Brilliant. I'm going to move back to a big face screen. I don't think there's anything else I need to say, she says. But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow with another stream. It's a nice chill one tomorrow. It's something about coffee, foam and fiction, I believe, which it got recommended in some sort of solo RPG video, I think by Dicebreaker. So we're gonna go check that out tomorrow as well. But thank you so much for being here. We had our first double header tonight, double header stream. Earlier we did Flabbergasted, where I basically just garbled. I was absolutely flabbing my gas, so to speak. So I appreciate if you were there for that one. But yeah, obviously check out that one, and obviously now Brindlewood Bay as well. That's a double header. I might, next time I do this, I might just make sure that both of them are not too intense. But yes, because the reason I sort of have done the double one, as I said at the beginning of the stream, I am going to be on holiday in September, and I did need to actually review Brindlewood Bay for an upcoming project. So I thought, why not check it out on stream, because it is such a delight, absolute delight. Right, I think that's everything. It's 9:30 my time. I'm going to have finished off my drink. I'm going to go watch some other people do some streaming. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here. Hey, play more games. Introduce Brindlewood Bay to people. Play the Murder Maven you were born to be. I'm going to search for my button to turn off. There we go. I'm going to wave. Thank you so much for being here. Have a good evening. Have a good day wherever you are. And I'll see you another time on Too Long Didn't Read Tabletop RPG streams. Bye!